I'm Sam.
And I'm Greg.
We're human beings. And we like movies.
We'll be doing reviews of brand new releases,
Old classics,
entire sagas,
and even TV shows and video games.
This is Reaction Time.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 68 of Reaction Time Podcast. Today, we are going to be reviewing the brand new movie, The Fall Guy.
The Fall Guy. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, The Fall Guy. Starring Ryan Gosling. I almost said Jake Gyllenhaal, and then I almost said Ryan Reynolds. So I was that close. Ryan Gosling.
Emily Blunt.
Directed by none other than David Leitch.
Who did Bullet Train?
Or Leitch?
I think it's
Yeah.
Leitch.
Okay. He did Bullet Train.
He
He did a lot of the stunt. I think he was the stunt
Yeah, I didn't
supervisor
know
on the
he-
Deadpool movies. John Wick.
I didn't know he was a stunt double.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, super
Which
cool.
is what a big thing I think that adds to the authenticity of this movie, which is
Yes,
really cool.
100%.
Really
100%.
cool. If you're gonna make a movie about a stuntman, who better to direct it than a stuntman?
A stuntman. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. It was super. I actually really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it too. It's freaking great.
This is a turn your brain off, fun, dumb blockbuster movie.
100%.
And that's all I needed.
Yeah, absolutely. It was on par with like Bullet Train, kind of as far as the vibe goes.
Pacific Rim, you know. Except I'd say the story was a little better in this than Pacific Rim.
And it's funnier than Pacific Rim.
And there's some really good fighting scenes.
Yeah,
So.
that's true.
And they broke a record on the most rolls in a car.
Yeah, dude.
8.5, dude.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Good for them, honestly.
I know.
It's amazing.
Well, they talk about it in the movie, and then I was like, I looked up afterwards, and I'm like, before I even watched the Corridor Crew video, I was like, oh, dang, they actually broke it. They were just saying it in the movie, but I didn't realize they did break the record.
Yeah, he's like, 8.5 rolls, man. Congrats. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know, but that's a lot of rolls. I don't even know was it Casino Royale that had the.
Yes.
It was one of the James Bond. I don't know how many they had.
I think it was Casino Royale.
Was it like 5 or 6?
I think it was 6.
But
so
yeah,
that's a big difference.
It is a big difference. You're 30%, 40% more. That's pretty awesome.
It was pretty crazy.
So what would you give the movie out of 10?
I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
Fun
Solid.
movie. There's some stuff in it that is a little dumb, but I had a blast.
Yeah.
This movie was a blast.
Oh, that's funny because of explosions. I'm giving this a 9.3.
Nice.
It was basically, honestly, I was going to say plot hole, but there's not a plot hole. Just the plot point is dumb. But I did not care once while I was watching it at all.
And we reviewed Argyle, and I picked so many little things out of that movie.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say the story was really much better than Argyle, but for some reason it didn't bother me.
I think that Argyle's story was honestly better. This one was much more simple, I think.
Yes.
So
there was less opportunity to make plot holes.
For sure. There was one There was one plot. And that was it.
That was it.
0 to 1 twist in the movie.
Okay, well how do you make a movie about stunt people?
Honestly, that's the thing is when I saw the preview, they don't really give anything away as far as I remember in the preview. It's just like director is in love with stuntman, and that's it. And then there's like stunts in the preview, and that's it. And so I'm like, maybe it's just going to be like a lot of stunts. I honestly expected, you know, in Hot Rod where every stunt is hilarious because they crash every single time.
Yeah.
That's what I expected from this movie, was maybe just Hot Rod 2.0. I'm glad that it had more to it than that, but
yeah,
we also got some of that.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Yeah.
The one big gripe that I actually had about this movie, and this isn't spoilers, it's about, the stunt people, right? The people that don't get acknowledged 95% of the time. It's giving them their time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, when it ended, I guess I was expecting, like, here's all the stunt people. These are their names. Like,
it's like it accidentally did the thing that they were trying to correct, I guess, in a way.
So in the credits, they show like the stunts happening.
Yeah, but you don't even really get to see the stunt people or meet them or anything. Yeah,
no. So I was like, this is all about stunt people. It's all about stunt people. And then I was even expecting like credits. The first names you see are the stunt people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were just in their normal spot past the cast, 100%. Past the director, past everything. So I was like, yeah, it did feel like it was for the stunt people. But at the same time, I was like, I wanted like, oh, my name's Mark and I did this stunt on the movie or something, like showcase some more, which they didn't, which was what the movie was about.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good point. It's a very good point.
A little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, but I really enjoyed it. I just had so much fun.
I did enjoy it. Yeah.
Ton of fun.
It's a fun movie.
Afterwards, Courtney, we were like walking out of the theater and Courtney's like, man, because my dream, like my whole life, has been to be a stunt man or a stunt driver.
That'd be so cool.
I've always wanted to do that since I was a kid. I even had my mom.
That'd be so cool.
I even had my mom buy me a little shirt with a stick figure that said I do all my own stunts, and I was like,
yeah.
9. And we walk out, and Courtney's like, man, I kind of want to get you into like a stunt school or something.
Yeah,
and I was like,
dude, how cool would that be?
And absolutely, the next day is an absolute no from her. But it made you feel. Just makes you feel like so hyped about nothing afterwards, basically.
Yeah.
Like you just walk out, and you're like, praise,
Like that was so cool, and it's like. But what did that do for anybody, really?
No, exactly. It just makes you... And then I think in a lot of ways, that is I guess if you look at it this way, that's almost the purest form of art, where it's like... It's almost completely about just the way it made you feel and less about all of the technical aspects. Even though a lot of the technical aspects were awesome and it looked great and there was cool stuff. But just afterwards, you feel awesome. Yeah. And that's kind of just what you want to do when you watch a movie. Or when you listen to a song or like anything like that. So it was legit. It was great. It was so fun. And it was
anything else spoiler free?
It's just a really good PG-13 movie. You know what I mean? So it's not, it's not overly, it's not sexual at all. It's not this or that. I mean, it's got enough fun, like, adult humor, but not even adult humor, just like regular humor for adults. Yeah. So it's not too kiddie, it's not too R-rated or anything. It's just a
you're not seeing people's heads cut off.
It's like a Mission Impossible movie, kind of, where it's like
exactly.
It's just a lot of good fun, a little bit of violence, a lot of explosions, just kind of
very little swearing.
What you want, very little swearing. What you want, kind of in a movie like that.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. Yeah. I think Me too. This is the movie to see for the next few months, I think. I haven't seen the other ones coming out, right? Until Deadpool and Wolverine.
100%.
But even then, that's all right, and there's going to be people who can't or won't go see that, So this is going to be like that sweet spot of movie for a little while. And we have a few kids' movies coming out, which will still be for adults. If you have Inside Out 2, you have a few different things coming out. But I think this is kind of the go-to, personally, for the next.
I guess depending on how Inside Out 2 is, that could be the one.
Yeah, and Planet of the Apes. But I think that following is a little. I think it's more like the people who are really into that are going to go see it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's already out.
Yeah, and it's out. So anyway, great movie.
Cool.
Great movie. Do you want to get into
I don't think I have anything else. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Before we
subscribe
to
YouTube, X, Patreon, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
We're in the middle of a big
TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a big MCU tournament on YouTube, and there's some interesting things.
Yeah.
I have definitely voted for some things that are losing hard, and it's been curious to watch. I'll tell you what.
I get it, but I'm a little upset about Iron Man losing to Civil War. I get it.
Yeah.
But that's like my movie, man.
I mean, there's some weird stuff in there, so go check it out. It's a good time. Just vote on your favorites.
And Captain Marvel's losing, so make sure to vote against that.
Yeah, go vote against that for sure, all the way. All right, let's jump into spoilers. So if you don't want to know what happens in this movie, spoilers in this movie are like kind of exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah.
If you can even halfway guess a movie decently, then you'll be fine. But it's more fun to watch it without it. So get on out of here and go see it.
Cool.
So let's jump into the visuals, sir.
Dude, first visual, when they showed the stunt double for Nobody, when he gets hit out of the bus.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I was like, bro, Nobody is so good.
I can't believe they showed that, too.
I know.
It's so cool. I'm like, oh, nobody knows about that movie.
I know. I'm like, please, people, watch this. Yeah. Nobody is so good.
Yeah, go watch Nobody, everybody. It's a great, if you love John Wick-esque movies, Nobody is awesome.
Yes.
And in that montage, I think maybe the very, very first thing was nothing short of a hot rod level fall from a mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And he just kept falling. All these, was it several people falling or was it one dude falling?
I think there was a time. I think it was different clips because I swear there was a time where there was like 2 or 3 people falling. Okay.
Because I was watching that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is hot rod vibes through and through. So, yeah, it's hilarious.
He's doing the gymnastics and he's like, just falls off.
So good, dude.
Oh, man. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry, no, you go.
Well, so I was just going to say, kind of the beginning of the movie, he's a stuntman. He's, on these movies with... Oh, sorry, Ryan Gosling is the stuntman. He's on these movies with Emily Blunt, she's not a director yet. She's like some producer, first AD, something, something along those lines. And they're in love or whatever. They're having a fling. And then he does one big stunt that like breaks his back, basically, or something like that. And then he's working as a valet. And you know what we get, Craig? We get a Challenger, bro.
We get a Challenger.
Now, it wasn't red. I believe it was orange.
No, it wasn't.
But it still counts. But it's still another Challenger. And it's just drifting this thing through a parking garage. And I was like, oh, my goodness. They're back with the Challenger again. I'm so happy. I could not be happier.
I think we're gonna have to have a competition of Challengers in movies and skewering in movies, and just see which one comes out on top.
Just compile all of them. That would be such a fun highlight reel.
Oh man, that would be so great.
That would be great.
My next thing was gonna talk about him falling.
The big fall inside of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a cool shot because it's done as a one shot, basically, where he's just walking up to the thing and then he is talking to somebody and they're just hooking him up and he just drifts back and just drops.
Yeah.
I just like how there was no cut from that.
I know. And I'm assuming he did that fall.
I would assume so because, again, it doesn't cut away.
Yeah.
So I don't know who else would have done it.
And I feel like that's such a mild stunt, as long as they're positive that they're safe, which I'm sure on this movie, every stunt was so safe.
Yeah, I mean, as most movies are.
Yeah, but some, every once in a while you have one go wrong. But this one feels like the movie where it would be the most safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even the director's like a stunt coordinator. And so I feel like something like that where you're just falling on a wire and they probably slow you down really well at the very end. It's so mild that I think any actor would do that. Or most,
That's what I think about, if I was an actor, I guess I just don't understand it all, but there's so many times where it feels like not that difficult or not that extreme, and they don't do it. And I'm like, why not? That'd be so much fun.
I do know that there are certain instances where they want to, and their agent, producer, manager, whoever kind of won't let them. And you do have
well,
to
something
think
happens to them, then they have to stop the movie.
Exactly. And you have to think about the monetary value of these people, of these actors.
Yeah.
It's crazy high. And there are so many who do everything that they can, basically.
Yeah.
Which I respect so much, right? And so, yeah, but I mean, it'd be so fun if everybody just kind of did their own.
Right.
You know? And if you can't do your own stunts, you're not doing the movie. Too bad.
I know. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
I guess I would always want to do it. So.
Yeah, 100%. But you're not worth, $500 million.
No, I'm probably worth negative.
Negative $500 million. Yeah, but that was a cool shot.
Yeah.
So my next thing is all the neon. So do you have anything before that?
Like in the Fight Club?
Uh-huh.
Not in the Fight Club, the fight in the club.
Yeah.
I have one that I don't know what it was.
Okay.
But I wrote down it was like a sushi tray. I'm assuming it was some adult joke.
Yeah, somebody is talking. She's okay. So basically, what happens is he gets called back in to do stunts again 18 months later, and they're, his back is healed now apparently, and so they're doing a movie, and he had basically disappeared off the face of the earth, and so Emily Blunt couldn't get a hold of him, so she's super salty at him because she just wanted to be there for him, and he cut everybody out. And so she's directing him because now she's the director on this movie, and she keeps making him do this stunt over and over. He's like lighting on fire a million times, and he's getting thrown into a rock a million times.
Yeah.
And she's doing a movie about aliens and space cowboys, and an alien falls in love with a space cowboy, and so she's explaining, the plot, quote unquote.
Right, which is her life.
But it's her life with him, and she's like, yeah, well, the alien didn't need the space cowboy anymore because she moved on, and she had so many different men. It was like a sushi platter or a sushi tray or whatever. So it was really funny. That was such a good scene. It went on for so long, and it just kept getting better and better. It was really funny.
So one of the things that I actually really liked, this is kind of story and visuals, is Tom Ryder. So basically Tom Ryder is like the actual actor, right? And then Ryan Gosling is the stuntman. And you go into his place, and there's just Post-it notes everywhere.
Yeah.
And one of them is, why is Chinese chicken orange?
It's so funny, dude. I want to pause that scene and look at all the sticky notes.
And then this is kind of the story, but they're like, at this point, it's Memento level. I don't know if you've seen Memento, but basically he doesn't remember what happens. So he's put Post-it notes everywhere so that when he wakes up, he knows what happened the previous day.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's why they say that, because the movie is fantastic. But yeah, it's like Memento level, because his house is just full of Post-its.
One thing I love is, so Ryan Gosling's is it his stunt coordinator? It must be. I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays M'Baku and is in that, he's in a Jordan Peele movie also, right?
Crap, yeah. What was his name?
What is his name?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't remember, but he's obviously very much a movie fan, and so he does movie quotes throughout the movie, and he just yells random people or different characters from movies and stuff, and so they're always he'll say a line from a movie, and Ryan Gosling has to guess it. It's really funny. It's a really funny dynamic. So anyway, Ryan Gosling, basically, this is where the plot gets a little. It's to me, it's slightly dumb, but I don't care.
Oh, well, 100%.
Basically,
dumb.
So Tom Ryder is the actor, and Tom Ryder goes missing. And so his agent, who is the beautiful Rebecca Waddingham or whatever, she needs Ryan Gosling to go find him because she thinks he's in a lot of trouble. So he goes on this hunt for this man, ends up finding a dead body in his room, all this kind of stuff, and then he gets drugged, at a club. And oh my goodness, first of all, what an amazing fight. What amazing visual. It was beautiful. So good. So he's just talking to this drug dealer with leopard tattoos on his head. And he gets drugged and just kind of kicks in immediately. And he's wearing just neon yellow green. The head to toe. It's incredible. I kind of want it to be my Halloween costume because it's so good. And
that would be pretty good.
It's just black light everywhere. And he's drugged up and they're going to try to take him and kill him, but he can still fight somehow.
Yeah.
I guess because he's a stuntman, it's in his blood. And
maybe he's not like fully drugged.
Because he's drugged, when he like punches people, they like turn into glitter, or glitter like shoots. It's like a firework. I can't explain it. You have to see it.
It's so you do.
It's so incredible. Cool. It's so cool. I was like, this is amazing. It's so amazing. It's like the scene in Argyle. It's like the smoke scene. Yeah.
It's a good version where
it's the good version. Yeah.
Well, because you have the ice skating. You have the ice skating afterwards, which is horrible.
Horrible.
The smoke fight's awesome, but it's so like random and out there. He's just drugged, and then all of a sudden he's just like punching people like crazy, and it's just like sparks and like even just like the almost the visual style of the people slightly change, like outlines almost type of like deal and stuff. It's super cool.
Yeah, it's so good. And then, I mean, not to mention the unicorn that shows up. He
constantly.
He sees a unicorn, and who's he talking to about the drugs? He's on the phone with somebody. And he's like, when do the drugs wear off? And they're like, when you stop seeing the unicorn. And he turns, and there's a unicorn. And then he just basically sees this unicorn.
Like with him,
Yeah, until the drugs wear off. And the funniest part is when he looks in the mirror and his reflection just is the unicorn. And so it's just like matching everything he does. Oh, it's so funny.
It was so funny.
So
good. One of my favorite moments was, he's in Tom Ryder's place, and his girlfriend starts attacking him. And
Tom Ryder's girlfriend.
Tom Ryder's girlfriend. Sorry, yeah. Tom Ryder's girlfriend starts attacking him, and I don't know if she bashes something against him. It's something glass.
Yeah.
And he sees there's some in his hood. So he just kind of starts like brushing off the glass.
Oh, yeah.
But then he notices that there's more glass. And so, it's like probably 2 minutes long. He is literally like trying to pour all of the glass out of his hood. I don't know why it was the funniest thing in the entire world.
It's so real, and it's not a normal thing you put into a movie, but you've had something in your hood before, or your pockets that you can't get out, right? And so you're like just shaking stuff off.
And he keeps pulling stuff out, and then he just finally like opens it and like pours it.
What I think makes it so funny is it's such a pause in pacing. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like action, fight scene, blah, 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 and then boom, hold on. He needs to dump all this stuff out of his hoodie.
Yeah.
And then just back to it. It's hilarious. It's so funny.
It's amazing. It's so funny.
It's great. That is great comedic timing. I love it.
Yeah. David Leisenberger is really good at that.
Leach?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah. So one thing I loved was when Emily Blunt calls him, and they're on the phone, and they're talking about the script and stuff. And she's like, what do you think about doing split screen? And then the movie goes into split screen. And it's both of them. And they're probably not the first ones to do this, but a lot of times split screen is very much just like, here's this person on this side, here's this person on this side. Right. And she's like, is split screen like, is it cheesy, or is it like good nostalgic, or is it like this, and this? And they are just, first of all, it is lined up so well.
Perfectly.
It's beautifully filmed. They're mirroring basically everything all the time. It's just every single thing, every shot, every movement, everything is so in sync and looks so nice together. And the fact that they're talking about doing split screen while it's split screen, it's so on the nose and self-aware on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just great.
It reminded me of Hobbs and Shaw.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, see, I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen basically like there's just, I don't know if it's the opening of the movie, but Hobbs and Shaw are both getting ready for the morning, and it's split screen, and so there's a lot of times that it's like lined up, and there's a lot of times where one's cooking breakfast and the other one's like just sitting around or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that split screen shot in that movie is really good. I haven't seen the movie. I've just seen that scene.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
that's cool.
I'm surprised you haven't seen that. You've watched all the Fast and Furious.
I know. I haven't seen that one. It escaped me completely.
I also forgot it in our tournament. Yeah, we're just not going to talk about it.
There's no. You can't fit it in. You can't make an 11 thing tournament. It's not divisible by anything. 11 is only divisible by 11.
I loved her brushing her hair back when she had the alien hand on.
Oh yeah, it's like this emotional thing, and she's just got her hair on. She's in this split screen. She's just like trying on like different like costume stuff. She's doing what you do when you're on the phone. You just like mess with stuff mindlessly. Yeah,
exactly.
Which again is it's funny because it's real.
Yeah.
You know, you're ever on the phone and you just find yourself like doing something so random, and you're like, I didn't even know I was doing this thing. You know.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Where you sit there and pace, and you're like, wait, I've been pacing for like 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay, so my next two notes are really late in the movie. They're kind of in the very, very last act.
I was gonna say mine's like my last one's like the end. So
okay. So let's talk about real quick the stunts. So you and I both watched a video put out by Corridor Crew, big old YouTubers, and they had David Leitch on their show, and they broke down a few of the stunts from this movie.
Yeah.
And it turns out basically all of them are practical, right?
Yes.
There's a few CGI enhancements, and there's a couple things I saw where they did it fully on a blue screen. And other than that, it's like all real. So when they're going down the bridge in the back of a dump truck or whatever, it's completely real. I mean, they're not actually... They're pulled on something. They're pulled on that, but it's safe, right? They're harnessed in it and all that kind of stuff.
It's not as fast because they're creating more sparks, you know.
But some of the sparks are real, which I'm like,
I know some are real.
They're really on that bridge in Australia. It's the actual bridge. They couldn't really shut it down, so they're kind of just going for it. I'm sure they had a little bit of shutdown, but I think the cars on the other side are real, just regular people driving through, and. So like so much of that, even when it starts spinning, it's still real. It's not on the ground, right?
No.
So they CGI'd the part where it's actually touching the ground, but it's like 3 inches above the ground.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Just spinning. It's so cool.
That was cool because they were even talking about it. They were like, movies have done, pulling, dump trucks or trash cans, stuff like that before. So they were like, why do we include this if there's nothing original we can do? And so they're like, spin the thing. It was awesome.
Yeah. And it's so fun. What's interesting about that though, and we talked about this a little bit, is it looks blue screened.
Yeah.
And it's not.
It's so weird. There was a lot of shots in this movie that felt like blue screen, and I don't think majority of them were.
Yeah, and I'll bet the ones that were didn't look like it. So I'm
probably. So I'm like, what did they do? Why did they make it look like it was almost shot in a blue screen? Don't you want it to look realistic?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like you think like Mission Impossible, when he's doing like the halo jump or anything like that, it looks off at first because a lot of this stuff hasn't ever been filmed before.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's real. Where this stuff was real, but looked like it wasn't real.
I know, and I do wonder if that has something to do with... Because here's the thing is, we've never seen that, well, I haven't, with your own eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder if frame rate plays into it. I wonder if motion blur. I wonder if all this kind of different stuff that the human eye doesn't capture, but the camera does, makes it look weird when, like, it's almost weirder when they're doing it practically because we're maybe so used to it being CGI or something like that, right? Yeah. But it's like, they showed the clip of it. It's all real except for some of the sparks, and then they paint out the wires.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
And that's basically it. So
And maybe there was a couple like quick shots that were blue screen.
possible, yeah.
Because like when it was like almost like a straight shot of Ryan Gosling on there, that's where it looked more blue screen, and
That's
maybe
what I
they
was thinking.
filmed that part afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, it's possible.
Maybe they didn't have a camera that was good in that spot, or I don't know.
But otherwise, I mean, the stunts themselves are all great. The pyrotechnics are great. The stunt driving is great.
Yep.
It's all the stunts all around are so good in this movie.
The car roll was
So good.
awesome.
The car rolls, it's so fun to watch.
It's so fun to watch.
And the
I just
jump,
want to rewatch that over and over.
the jump. I don't know if this is your note, but the jump at the end too. I was like, that's CGI. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not CGI. They jumped that
They
car. I
showed
don't
the
know
guy
how
jumping.
Far,
Oh
but-
yeah.
Oh my goodness, so exciting!
It's so cool.
I would love to do that.
I don't know if it was 250 feet like they said, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely far though.
it's far.
So cool.
That was cool.
So my second to last note is okay. So essentially, we find out Tom Ryder is bad. Okay, he's trying to kill the stuntman because he's embarrassed that he doesn't do his own stunts.
Yep, 100%.
Which is so funny.
Which is so dumb.
It's dumb, but at the same time, it's like a funny plot point. You're like, this guy's
And
so full of
realistic.
himself that he really wants to kill them. And so
100%.
Ryan Gosling escapes in a boat. Okay.
Yep.
And then he jumps the boat and it explodes, but he escaped, but nobody saw him escape. Okay. So then he shows up back on set and he's like, we got to nail this guy. He shows up in this hilarious looking alien costume. He sneaks into Emily Blunt's trailer to let him know that he's alive. But the alien voice, the mask has a voice changer, and so it's like, and so he's trying to talk to her, and she ends up beating the living daylights out of him, stabs a pen into his leg, everything.
Yep.
It's so funny, and she's such a good fighter too. It's like so shocking because you think she's just gonna like hit him with a few things, but she's got moves.
Oh no, she's
And
got
it's
moves.
So funny, and she finally realizes it's him, and he says something funny that I'll talk about later. But and then she's like, and then the bad guy's producer shows up, and so she's like, you have to hide. So he goes and hides in the back of the trailer, and the producer comes in there talking, and he pops in, and he's just like. He's just like in the alien costume with the alien hands. He's just flipping her off. It's so funny.
Man.
It's so
so
funny.
good.
So he's just like, you see her, and then he's just like out of focus behind her, and you're just
But he just like peeks his head.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and then he walks out a little bit more, and then that's when because I think he even does like a thumbs up for a second there.
Yeah.
When she's saying something, and then he just starts flipping her off. Oh man.
Oh, it's so good. It's so funny.
It's so good. So the last thing that I had was, I don't know where it was. Oh, it was at the Comic-Con when they're showing the trailer for the movie that she made. So basically, Emily Blunt makes the movie, like you said, where it's aliens and space cowboys, and they show it. And I just love the one person that's dressed as Shrek because
amazing.
there's always that person that's dressed as Shrek all the time.
Yeah, so good.
They understand Comic-Con by having one person dressed as Shrek.
Yeah. Which is so funny, dude.
So good.
Okay, so my last thing is at the end there's kind of a big chase. Essentially they're trying to get the actor to admit that he tried to kill, that he killed one stuntman and is trying to kill everybody else. All the other stuntmen. And so then there's a chase basically for the recording. So there's kind of like this chase going on for the guy and because they got him on a wire saying this. So there's all these people are chasing different people. And the crew of the movie knows about this and they're all good guys. And so they have planned everything out. And so they know when to light off explosives to blow up people's cars and stuff. Yep. And there's one time where this car is, this BMW is driving straight at this dude's car. And he's like, now. And they blow it. And the like gets an explosion underneath it and it flips over the top of the car without touching it. It's awesome.
It was like it felt like a nod to the Dark Knight.
That's exactly what I was thinking when they flipped
when they flipped the bus. Not quite as incredible.
The semi.
Yeah, not quite as incredible, but pretty amazing.
Still so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. So yeah, just really, really good stunts all around.
Dan is his name. The stunt coordinator.
Oh, Dan.
Gotcha. Dan. Yeah.
Dan. Okay, so that's that's all I got for visuals.
Yeah. What are you gonna give it?
You know, it is tricky with how the stuff that's not fake looked fake.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it was distracting.
But I mean, oh my goodness, it's so good.
But it's so good.
I'm going to give it a 196. Because of the stunts and the driving and all of that. And the cinematography and the ideas and the neon fight and just everything that was so good about this movie. What do you got?
I'll do 192.
Okay.
I think the blue screen stuff for some reason, whether it was or not, bothered me a little bit. And then I know the movie was like the movie that she's making is not the central focus of it, but there were times where I was like, "Oh, those ships look pretty bad."
Oh,
there were times where the ships look super dang cool.
Yeah.
And then there was other times where I was like, I get it's a movie in a movie, so you don't necessarily need to make it look good, but it kind of looked pretty bad.
Also, the fight montage in front of the opera house is awesome. I forgot to mention that.
It's so cool.
So cool, dude.
It's so cool. I want this movie.
And Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa, that was
incredible.
That was pretty good.
All right, so let's jump into the story.
Okay.
Mine's pretty much mostly one-liners.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit both. A little bit of
my favorite is so Gail is the like I don't know what she is. She's the director, assistant.
She's his producer. She's Tom Ryder's producer.
She's his producer. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's trying to get Ryan Gosling back. And he's like basically saying no. And Gail's like, did you get his message? And he's like, oh, yeah, the prayer hands emoji. Oh, yeah. So Tom Ryder had just basically sent the prayer hands emoji.
After he breaks his back. Doing a stunt for him. Oh, the prayer hands emoji? That is so funny.
Prayer hands emoji. That was good.
So when Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling are talking about, basically she's yelling over a freaking megaphone, over a bullhorn to him about basically their relationship issues, and it's very thinly coded in the plot of the movie. Very thinly.
Beautiful.
And
beautiful.
She's just going back and forth, and she's like, yeah, and the aliens and the humans, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, do the aliens and humans ever talk in private? And she's like, no, they love having all of their conversations very public. So funny. So good.
I wrote down, and he talked so fast I didn't write down the other thing, but it was, what's the saying? Pride before the fall. And then he says like, well, with like a stunt person, he says something about a fall. And I remember laughing and thinking it was hilarious because I've heard that saying before.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you remembered, but.
No, I don't remember.
No. Okay.
There's one, I think is it the same scene? I can't remember, but they're talking about something. He's talking about like how he feels, and he's like, well, what if this happens and this happens? And then some other random dude has I think it's a guy in an alien costume. I think he gets a bullhorn, and he's like, I had a similar situation when I fell in love with my wife's sister. And he's like it's the alien voice.
And then he's like taking it away, and he's like, okay, you don't need to be here.
So funny. Yeah.
So my next one is, so they're trying to like make up. And this goes with score. I can't get into it yet, But so basically, she gets in the car with him because he's about to drive home. And she gets in the car with him and they're talking for a little bit. And she's like, do you want to drive me to my car? So he puts it in drive and he drives literally 2 feet. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. Like
it's
2
so
feet
short.
And then just stops and there's her car.
Yeah. It's so funny. So before that, I believe Ryan Gosling is talking to Gail. And she's starting to talk about what Emily Blunt is. And she's talking about how she's this and this and this wrapped in this. And it's like she's like a hot dog wrapped in sexy bacon and all this stuff. And then he's just like, she's been the sexy bacon all along. Such a weird line. And then when they go to do the,
but it
to the
made
car,
total sense.
He gets in the car to drive away.
Yeah.
And he turns on the radio and it's blasting some Taylor Swift song. And then it goes to a montage of all of these memories that he has. And then Emily Blunt, comes up to the window and he rolls down the window and turns his head and he has very visibly been sobbing. And it is one of the funniest parts of the whole movie. He's just crying in his car. But the cringiest thing ever about this is right when that song came on, I see a lot of movement to my left. And I look over and there's this girl with her husband or her boyfriend or something. And she is visibly the most excited I've ever seen a human being because a Taylor Swift song is just
It's a Taylor Swift song.
She not only mouths every word, but like dances and fist pumps.
Gets into it.
And I was like, please not here or anywhere.
This is what's wrong with
This is a
the
movie
world.
theater. Please don't.
No.
Please don't.
This isn't the Eras tour.
That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna in the score. I was gonna say 0 out of 200 because they used a Taylor Swift song. But I will say
funny.
It was very well done.
And honestly, probably wouldn't have been as funny if it wasn't a Taylor Swift song.
No, it wouldn't have.
It was topical.
Which bothers
and it was
me.
hilarious. Yeah. But the fact that he turns and his eyes are so wet. It's so funny.
Well, she even asked, she's like, have you been crying?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, man.
Okay,
So
I just have
this
2
is-
more lines, so what do you got?
Okay, so this is both story and acting. She basically now they've, for the most part, made up.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, do you want to go do karaoke with me? And then she does this little like pose thing where it was like a little, middle school girl that really likes this guy and just asked him to go to prom or the dance or something. And then just does this like awkward like pose. So good. And so
good.
like real, because you felt in that moment everything that she was feeling in that moment too, by that one little pose.
Doesn't she say something about it afterwards? Doesn't she say?
Yeah.
And then she says, "I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. I don't like that I did that." It's something like that. Yeah.
And it was just like,
So
chef's kiss right there.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. So right after that, he's trying to make it to karaoke. Okay.
Yep.
She's doing karaoke and she's bummed that he's not there. But he is in the fight for his life against the bad guys in the garbage truck. Okay.
Yep.
He ends up in a car or in the dump truck. One of the two with the dog.
He ends up in both.
When is he with the dog in the seat next to him?
That's the car.
So he buckles up the dog, and the dog keeps barking. So the dog is he's driving the car. The dog's next to him. The dog keeps barking, so he buckles up the dog, which is hilarious. Then the dog keeps barking. He's like, okay, I'll put my seatbelt on. So then he buckles up, and then they're about to
like
crash.
coward or something like that.
Yeah, he's about to crash, and he looks at the dog. He goes, "Engage your core." And they do this big jump, and it's so. Well, I don't know why it's so funny that he told a dog to engage his core.
That dog was the best.
And all of the dog's commands are in French, which is even funnier. And his name is Jean-Claude.
That dog was the best. Jean Claude.
So good.
That dog.
Best dog.
Everything about that dog was
best
perfect.
movie dog after Air Bud for sure.
Yeah. I think it's. I want to say that it's him texting her, and he says, "I'm in a pickle," and I don't know if it's like while they're. I think maybe it is while she's at karaoke because she doesn't see the phone or something like that.
Yeah.
But he says like, "I'm in a pickle," but then it like translates it to a different word.
So he accidentally sends, "I'm a pickle." That's the first thing that he says.
That's what he says.
And then he says, "I'm in a pickle," ducking autocorrect.
Ducking autocorrect.
Yeah.
Which you knew what he was going to say.
For sure.
And it changed it to ducking, and I was
I'm a
dying.
Pickle. It's when they're him and M'Baku, Dan, they're in Tom Ryder's place looking for the video or something.
Oh, that's what it was.
And everybody's fighting them, which is where two of the funniest lines happen because Dan is fighting these guys, right? And he does something with a gun and he just goes, "Jason Bourne," and he hits him. Okay. He says another name and I recognized the name, but I wasn't sure who it was, so I didn't write it down.
Ooh, yeah, I can't remember.
But then the other one, he picks somebody up like on his shoulders and goes, "Dwayne The Rock Johnson," and he throws him backwards. I'm like, dude, heck yeah, this guy's the best.
Dan was awesome.
Dan was awesome. Dan was a great part of this movie. Yeah.
So the one big, not really big, but just kind of big issue that I noticed is, so they're chasing him. He gets on the boat. Well, basically Tom Ryder's caught him. Oh, which we didn't talk about this in visuals. This was a cool scene. Tom Ryder has caught him. And he's like, "Sorry, you're going to have to die now," because Tom Ryder had this phone that had a recording of him killing this stuntman by accident.
Yeah.
He kicks him and basically just, I'm assuming, breaks his neck or something like that.
Yeah, hits his head or something, yeah.
Yeah. And so they're like, "Sorry, I'm going to have to kill you now." And they start pouring gasoline on him. And so then he starts screaming intentionally, hoping that they would pour gasoline in his mouth.
Yeah.
So then the guy turns on the lighter and like, I don't remember what he says. He says something like super, bad A, cool or whatever.
Yeah.
And as soon as he turns on the lighter and he's about to throw it, he spits the gasoline out of his mouth and then starts a thing, which he was covered in gasoline.
That was the one part where I was like, the whole thing should have basically just exploded right in that moment.
I would assume so.
There was so much gasoline everywhere, just the fumes. Because he was covered head to toe in gasoline, and then he just spit gasoline out. That would for sure travel fast enough, I think, to light him on fire. That was one thing I saw. I was like, little pothole.
Yeah, so which was fine. So then he gets on a boat, and then they start chasing him, and he calls Emily Blunt. And he's basically confessing his life story to her about why he didn't ever reach out to her. But he's like trying to sneak around. He's not that far away from him, from the other guys, but he's like talking full volume to her on the phone. And I'm like, none of them would have heard you.
Yeah. That definitely has its issues. For sure.
So.
Yeah.
And then my last note that I have is when they're on the helicopter with Tom Ryder, Gale, and him, there's this gun that's been being shot around that Gale had. And Gale gets the gun and points it at Ryan Gosling. And Ryan Gosling's like, "It's empty." And she tries to shoot and there's just nothing there. And then he does his jump out of the helicopter.
He just slowly falls backwards out of the helicopter. It's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was fun.
I just like how he was like, "It's empty."
The whole last chase and fight and everything was so good.
So cool.
So cool. And him just
insanely
like
over the
jumping
top.
around on the helicopter and all that was so fun, dude. So fun.
That was really awesome.
I really liked it. Okay. So what do you got story-wise?
So it's kind of dumb. Doesn't fully make a lot of sense. But at the same time, you got to have something to make this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to dock it too badly. There were some parts that really didn't make any sense, but overall, the writing was really, really good. The one-liners were awesome. Mm-hmm. So I'll do a 181.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. It is tough because is the story incredible? No.
No.
But they did a really good job at writing it, if that makes sense. Like writing the story is like what else could they have done in a way?
Exactly.
If you just want to make a movie about a stuntman, you still have to make it interesting. So they kind of pick, something slightly basic, but the way they wrote something so kind of whatever is really impressive. If that makes sense. So it's like it's really
like
funny.
The Mario movie.
Yeah.
It was perfect for what it needed to be.
Easy to conceive plot, but well written. So the execution, it's basically really good execution on a mediocre plot, which is still great. Yeah. And I just think as far as writing goes, they just did such a good job at energy and pacing, right? Where you just leave excited about nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I think, just a massive amount of brownie points. So I'm going to give it a 189.
Nice.
Which is super high for really, if we're just talking story, that's very high. But this is a story / writing. So, yeah, really good.
Story's maybe 100, but writing's really high up there.
Yeah, for sure.
So
let's talk about the acting.
Okay.
Which if I can just say right off the bat, I think is really good.
Yeah, the only note that I have was Tom Ryder's girlfriend. I didn't think she was that good.
No, I'm glad she wasn't in much of the movie.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't very good.
She was
whatever.
Not good. She was distracting and very, I don't know, just very over the top, weird. Didn't like her.
And then honestly, everyone else, I think, was great.
Yeah.
Seriously. Even the tiny side characters, all of the little, like the red-haired bun guy, I thought was really good.
They did great.
What's his Quicksilver was good. Tom Ryder.
Yeah, Quicksilver. Yep.
Quicksilver 2.0. But yeah. I mean, Ryan Gosling is just so good.
He's great.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt was great.
Every time. Oh, go ahead.
No, you keep going. You're good.
It's a Jake Gyllenhaal situation where now it's like every time I watch a Ryan Gosling movie, I just fall more in love with him. It's just so much. Every time I watch him, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so good and he's genuinely funny. And I was saying to Courtney right after the movie, it's like he's in kind of a Channing Tatum situation where it's like, yes, he's supposed to be the hot guy, but he is also just genuinely hilarious. And I don't think he can keep himself from being that way, which is it's so fun.
And I think he's even more than Channing Tatum because I feel like Channing Tatum is pretty regarded as the stupid funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
Where Ryan Gosling, in a way, kind of is, but he's also not.
Yeah, and he can be several different types of funny.
Yeah.
He's a little bit more kind of witty with it, I guess, with his humor, whereas Channing Tatum is a little bit more stupid,
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. So what would you give the acting?
I'll do a 193.
Okay. I was going to give it a 194, so
nice.
Solid.
Yeah, everybody was great.
I'm giving it 195. I especially thought that M'Baku was particularly a show stealer. He was just so fun in every scene he was in.
He was so good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Emily Blunt, it felt very different of a role for her.
Yeah.
And she did great.
She did really good. She killed it. Yeah. Yeah, that's true because I feel like she's always... The only other role I can think of that's like, whoa, that's Emily Blunt. What the heck is... What's that Tom Cruise movie? Die today and live again tomorrow forever. Die again, no time to die, repeat.
Live, die, repeat.
Live, die, repeat. And also has
Edge of Tomorrow.
Name. Yeah,
Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah.
That's another one where I'm like, what? Why is she in this movie? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because everything else is like Mary Poppins, Jungle Cruise, all that, you know.
And then you got A Quiet Place.
And a Quiet Place, right? She is versatile. I think she's just, there's something about her that is always the same, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's always still Emily Blunt, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Whereas other people like Woody Harrelson, it's always Woody Harrelson, and in a way it's fine, but it's also like it's just Woody Harrelson in the movie. Whereas Emily Blunt, it's like I recognize it's her, but I still get into her character, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she did a good job.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about a score. So immediate 150 points off for putting Taylor Swift in there.
100%.
That's a big L. So we can't do that.
And then an immediate 250 plus points for having Phil Collins in your movie.
Yeah. I mean, so that's where I get, is it gets tricky. The math starts to not add up. You know?
The math ain't mathing.
Now we're at 300 out of 200 and my brain's not working. So it was a pretty good score.
It was a pretty good score.
Decent score, good soundtrack.
My favorite was all of the Dune ripoff music.
Oh my goodness.
In the movie.
There was one really bad one where they literally were this close to probably getting copy struck. Yeah, it was that, but like just like switched to one note. And Courtney has not even seen that. And she turns to me and she goes, "Isn't that Dune?" And I was like, "Yep."
Oh my gosh. It was so funny.
That was really funny. It looked just like Dune, but so much worse.
Just like Dune. And even like when they had like their speech, it was like the speech that he made in it and everything. And it was so good.
Is also so funny because this movie was obviously made before Dune even came out.
Obviously.
I mean, I guess Dune 2. It was made after Dune 1 came out. But still just it felt like I had so many Dune 2 references. And I'm like, how did they know? You know? And maybe they knew because Jason Momoa. He's in
Could've
both.
been.
Well,
Could've
not
been.
Dune 2, but Dune 1.
Dune 1, yeah.
But, yeah. Okay, so what are you going to give the score on this?
So soundtrack was good.
Yeah, soundtrack was good. And score was pretty good.
Score was pretty good. Sound effects were great. So nothing like insane.
Nah.
The Phil Collins song was about your peak, and the Dune ripoff was hilarious. So I'll do a 172.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna give it. Oh, you did 172. I'm gonna give it a 181.
Nice.
That's where I'm at. So let's talk about the vibe of this movie. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna give it a 200.
195.
195?
195.
Okay. Why 195?
Just a bunch of little random things that were just like, that doesn't quite add up in my brain. The one actor not being the best, but there's just a fun, turn my brain off, have a good time movie.
Yeah.
So
I'm giving it 200.
You're giving it the 200.
I'm giving it the 200.
Not even the 199.
No, not even the 199 because I have not been just this like amped after a movie in so long, right? It just was such a freaking blast to watch.
It was fun.
And afterwards, I was just like so excited to do nothing. Like there was it was the most vague excitement I've ever felt in my whole life.
You're doing stunts. That's what you're doing.
I just felt like I could go out and do stunts. It honestly, I know I talk about this all the time, and I'm so sorry, but I have to talk about Star Wars anyway. So
you have to. It was
on par with after I left Attack of the Clones when I was 6, and I just watched Yoda bounce off all the walls and fight like really cool. And I got home and I'm 6, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me now. It was the same feeling where I was like, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna jump, not like suicide jump, but I'm just gonna jump.
Do your backflip, dude.
Something. I'm gonna backflip
right now. Backflip.
Someday I will backflip in honor of this movie. But yeah, just the amount of hype, personal hype, that I felt was there, regardless of the imperfections.
Yeah.
You know. So that's it. That's what she got. So I'll guess first. I always make you guess first. Okay? I always make you guess first. I'm gonna say that I gave it a 920. Nope, that's way too low. I'll say that I gave it a 951. What do you think you gave it?
939.
Craig, 933.
Oh!
That was a decent guess. It's kind of surprising how good we are at guessing.
I know, right?
961. Oof. Missed it by 10. Bummer. Big bummer. You won that one. All right, so box office.
Yes.
Where's your knowledge at for box office?
Okay, so I know the first weekend
was it 25 point something?
20. It was 25 or like 28, something like that.
I think I saw it was 25.8. I believe.
Okay.
And then
the second highest grossing movie that weekend.
Yes. And I know the second highest grossing movie that weekend was The Phantom Menace, which is hilarious. At 8 million.
Nice.
Isn't that interesting? And then it was, what was the other movie that was out? I just remember like thinking, oh my gosh, that sucks. You just lost to a 25-year-old movie at the box office. But I can't remember what it was. But
second weekend, I don't know exactly what it did, but I think it's hovering around 100 or close to 100 million worldwide.
Was this?
It had a decent drop.
Are we 2 weeks in now?
This is 2 weeks. And Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes just released, and like
last weekend.
I think it released to like 60 million. So
oh gosh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a number and it's ambitious.
Okay.
I'm gonna lose this one, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Maybe it's not ambitious. Now I'm questioning myself. Do you have a number?
Dang. Ooh, I don't know. We're like not far into it, but
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got a number.
All right, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
191.
218. Okay.
218.
We're in the same ballpark now.
Yeah.
We're in the same. I was
wondering if it was going to double.
I know. I was going to go 190s. I was like, you know what? I kind of feel like this is going to maybe be one of those kind of word of mouth where it picks up some traction.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like I think this has the ability to reach a broader audience than Planet of the Apes does. In a way. You know what I mean? I feel like
yeah.
If you put like...
But it's also the fourth movie.
That's true, but let's say you just go on the street and you grab 1,000 random people and you have them watch both. And you're like, what suits you more? Or I guess you give them the choice. Like, which one would you rather see, right? I feel like more people would be drawn to this because it's a couple big name actors who are, especially Ryan Gosling being as in the zeitgeist right now.
Coming from Barbie.
You know what I mean? So I'm kind of shocked that more people didn't see it with all the hype that he has right now.
I think at the same time, though, the second and third Planet of the Apes, I know did really, really well.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, the first one did pretty well, but then the second and third, I think just really took it off.
I honestly wonder, this isn't even a joke, even though it sounds like one. I wonder if the first weekend being such a low box office is honestly an actual Morbius situation where it's like everyone was just busy that weekend. But people actually were busy. You know what I mean? Because that seems so low for a movie like this.
Re-release Fall Guy.
Did you say they're like about 100 million into it?
I think they're about 100 million.
Because that seems weird to have a 25 million and then make 75 more in a week.
Well, that was just domestic. That was just domestic.
Oh, it was 25 domestic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's different. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Box Office Mojo.
I got that.
So
in
we're basically split. 53 million domestic, 54 million international.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean it dropped pretty bad. So Friday it opened to 10 million, Saturday 10 million, Sunday 6, and then Monday was only 1 million.
Oh wow.
So and then it went back up again. And then it went down and down and then went back up. Like it does on the weekends. Let's see.
Because I'm curious to know.
130.
Yeah, see, that just seems.
So, ooh.
But it almost seemed like this movie wasn't a risk. You know what I mean? If I were the studio, and they brought me this, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna do a really funny stunt guy movie, and it's David Leitch directing, and it's Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt and Rebecca Waddingham and yada yada yada, all these people," I'd be like, "Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Spend what you want on it. People are gonna go watch that." So that's weird to me.
It was supposed to make 40 million on opening weekend, and it did 27.
That's pretty low.
They said it felt pretty short.
Yeah.
So.
Bummer.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's sad. It was really good.
It is sad. Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah. I did see a lot of marketing for it.
What?
I did see a lot of marketing for it.
Yeah, I did too. The other thing though is like, it's not a movie where you're like, oh, I need a sequel. You know what I mean?
No.
So if they lose money, it's kind of just, okay, well, it was still fun. It still exists.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, bummer, we're never going to see a second one. Because what movie was that where we saw the first one? It was awesome. Oh, The Creator. And it flopped. And it's like...
Yeah.
It's like, dang, are we ever going to get a second one? Probably not.
Or even Annihilation.
Yeah, or Annihilation. Yeah, exactly. So...
Yeah.
Interesting.
Huh.
Okay, well, we'll keep everyone updated with that box office as we go, see where we're at. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. You said 218?
212.
212?
Did I say 218? I wrote 212. So now I don't know what I said. I'll go back.
I don't know. You might have said 212.
Yeah, I have no idea. Because I think I was thinking 218, so now I'm confused why I put 212. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything. Nothing in my brain is official.
You guessed whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Go check out all of our socials. Check out the links. And we got new merch. So if you want to go buy some new merch, it's there in the link, and it works.
It's pretty cool.
And it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, if you're joining us for the first time, our whole thing is that movies are worth more than 10 points, which is why we rate it out of 1,000.
Yeah.
That seems more, it seems nicer to movies.
This is just what I'm hearing on the street, but supposedly Ryan Gosling has bought a shirt, so that's all. Just throwing that out there.
I think he has.
Yeah. So.
But I mean,
be cool like
I
Ryan
can't
Gosling?
confirm or deny.
No, definitely not.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to today's episode of Right Epidemics, our counting time inside of Nigeria, Tanzania, inside more extractions.
More extractions.
A lot of people didn't know, but now you know. Heard it here first.
Extraction 3
Extraction
in Nigeria and
3.
Tanzania.
Coming to theaters, never. Netflix exclusive.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Alrighty.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Love
See
you
you next week for something.
Something, bye.